Outage over murder of colonel and 6 soldiers in fresh terrorist raid. Mopo, 9 others killed in renewed attacks in Benue. Well, I think we should talk a little about that. When I looked at the dailies this morning, all I could see is politics, and insurgents. Um, it's quite unfortunate that we're not talking about anything new on the table. When we leave this table this morning, tomorrow will come by the grace of God, and we probably will be talking about the same thing. Question is, everything that everyone is saying, are these things falling on deaf ears? Does anybody really care? It's so sad to be losing, members of the armed forces who have stood, so solidly for this country. They've given their all in all. They've given their very best, and I don't think this is this is a good way for them to die. I don't care what kind of name we give them, but whatever it is we say about them after they're gone, the fact is that they're dead. And this death could have been avoided. Okpayemi, do you think we're ever going to stop talking about this? For me, this is a grave, grave loss. And it's coming on the back of the loss of the Brigadier General. Yes. And now I start to wonder, do we really know what we're doing? Do we really know what to do? Or are we trying to protect certain people or certain ideologies? What exactly is going on? But one thing I know, certain people know about what's going on.
Well, we've been here before, and I'm not sure we're leaving here anytime soon. And I'm talking about the conversation around how we should be properly governed as a nation. I'm beginning from the issue of security or insecurity. Yesterday, I had a lengthy conversation with the Borno State chapter chairman of the Middle Belt Generation Next Forum. And he was telling me that the Gili markets, where the airstrike happened on Sunday, was actually where his mom came from. So he's been to that Gili market over and over again. And if you look at the statement of both the Nigerian Defense Headquarters, Professor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, and even the former Chief of Army Staff, Buratai, also came out to say that the strike on that community is valid. So when I was talking to the head of the Generation Next Middle Belt Forum yesterday from Borno, we were on the phone for a lengthy period of time. And it says that the criminal activity going on in that community is known to the people in that community and even known to the government. So maybe the government was just taking in time and said, I've closed this market for 5 years, but you've illegally opened it in the last 1 year. He said, truly, there were civilians doing normal markets at that market, but there were also criminals trading in that market. So when we talk about conspirators, when we talk about beneficiaries of this war, when we talk about merchants, when we talk about the people selling weapons, religious leaders, political leaders, opinion leaders, everyone has a say in all of this. So the Minister of Defense talked about the fact that there's an order from the presidency. If you aid or abet criminals, if you do business with them, if you are caught in their circle, if you hide them, if you provide information for them, if you supply weapons to them, if you supply medical services to them, if you are caught in their web, you will be killed. And the message is very clear. So the whole narrative around, innocent people were killed in Gili on Sunday, it doesn't hold water. And I'm sorry, and I've said it. I had it on my social media platform a couple of days back that if we want to end this insurgency, there are people that make themselves available as human shields. There are people that make themselves available for willing informants, for token. They go to the streets, go to the areas. These bandits, these criminals, they don't live in the holes. They come out, they come to the markets, they come to mosque on Friday to pray. They go to supermarkets, they go to the hospital to get treatment when they are shot. So people know them. The governor of Zamfara State, Dauda Lawal, come out to say that they know these people, they know their families, they know their houses. But it looks like somebody's hand is tied. And so when we continue to sacrifice the lives of people that have put their entire existence on the line to protect the interest of this country, and I'll continue to say it, every single army officer's life matters. But when you look at a whole brigadier general that have taken you give and take 25, 27 years to get to that top level, just killed like that. But probably the person that killed him is just one random 15-year-old that didn't even go to school.
And
No,
yet we are sympathizing with these same people,
saying that they are innocent.
that they're
people.
innocent. The market has been closed for 5 years.
Yes.
Whether they're innocent people selling there, I mean, unfortunately for them, why were they there?
See, there would always be.
I mean, there's really no excuse.
There will always be casualties of war. The most unfortunate thing, like one of my Oga, Mr. Matthew Okudia, used to say, is that there are no right or wrong during war. The best thing is for the war not to start. Once it starts, there's nothing like rules of engagement. There's nothing like human rights. If you know that a community market is closed, it's a border town, very large community, by the way, bordering Yobe and Borno. If that market was closed for 5 years, and you know, why should you go and, of all the markets in Borno, of all the markets in Yobe, of all the other 6 markets in border town, why does it have to be that is that exact Jili markets that you decide to go and buy millet or whatever you are buying, when you know very well that the criminals in that market are using the other traders as human shields? Criminal activities are going on, deals, weapons are being sold, kidnapped ransoms are being paid at that spot. So they will just make it look like on the outside they are selling millet, they are selling kose, they are selling all of this, but inside the market. So I'm asking, what are rocket launchers doing in the market? Why do we have gun trucks to be delivered in a market where civilians are buying?
And why are the people who are selling, why are they there? If they know that illegal deals are, happening right there, what are you doing there? So really there's no excuse, in my opinion. The government needs to do what they need to do. We are the people calling on the government to do something. Now, if the government has decided, and I know that the government would have, done their due diligence, before doing that. And when the governor stands and says that, he is behind, all of this was not without his knowledge, so it tells you that, that place really needed to be raided.
No, we saw pictures, we saw videos.
We saw videos
there was
of
surveillance over weeks.
Yes.
And they know that weapons are being moved in and being traded at that same
So
spot.
I don't understand what the sentiments, and the emotions and everything are for. I was
It's
watching
okay.
some of these people in the hospital, and honestly, I don't know, I was just rubbed the wrong way, unfortunately. In my mind, when these guys, kill people, they don't have any sympathy
There's no
whatsoever.
sympathy.
And then you want people to sympathize with you because you have, a wound or something, or because you have a bruise or whatever. Somehow I didn't feel any pity, because I don't know, I'm not judging anybody, but perhaps, they deserve